And we're back again. Third episode. Still. We left it. Hans was on his last day in Pattaya. Him and his two friends were about to fly home. Gretel is with him in the morning. Gretel. They have breakfast. They chat more and more. She's given him everything he needs. She says that they hook up Messenger, Facebook and Messenger. She helps him. He hasn't got a Facebook page. She sets his Facebook page up and tells him not to use it apart from Messenger. She's got Messenger and they'll talk through that. She'll talk him through the process of how he comes across and moves and everything. Now, he does tell her in this breakfast meeting, which is a bit strange, that this is all great, but there's one thing he wants to tell her, and that he does not do physical aerobics and this contact. This was a little bit of a surprise to her. However, she says, that's not a problem. We'll work something out. They get on so well. She says, I'm now going to go. We'll talk over the coming months and we'll figure all this out together. And this is just music to his ears. She's just taken the role on of his new mother in his head, and I believe in her head as well. Lunchtime comes, they say goodbye. She kisses him on the cheek, gives him a big squeeze hug, and said, this is going to be fabulous, our new life together. And he's like, it's as if his mother's just given him his pocket money and he can go off to the shop and buy some sweets. He's over the moon, over the moon. Anyway, off she goes and packs his stuff, meets up with his two friends. They've got a taxi booked, pays up everything he's got to pay. Oh, and he paid Gretel. He gave her about 5,000 baht for her expenses, plus he paid her room and all the food and things. So, yeah. Two friends, they jump in the taxi and then they start talking about their fabulous holiday, what they got up to, and they asked him about the woman he was with, they saw her in the morning with. And he just sort of said that met this wonderful woman and they were going to talk, and he left it at that. He thought, luckily, or a good idea, not telling them what was going to happen. Flew back home. First thing he did, back to his apartment. His Philippine wife was out at work. For the years they've been married, she'd been saving money and sending it to the Philippines, and she'd built her own house. He immediately got on to his sister and said, are you home? And she said, yes, and he went round to see her. He drove. He had a beat-up old car. Didn't like spending money. And over all these years, he'd managed to save about 20,000 euros, 20,000 pounds, 24,000 American dollars, 40,000 Australian dollars, and plus he had furniture and bits of jewellery and things. He went to his sister and he told her that he was getting divorced, he was selling his apartment, he was going to get rid of his Philippine wife, and he was going to move to Thailand and live with a new woman he's met. Now remember, he didn't get on with his sister. She just laughed at him and said fine. He asked her could he use her address for all his postal and the pension, everything through her address, and she said yeah, no problem. He said he'll start all this process and get it all figured out. Now his pension was due to start in about 3 or 4 months time later by this time. So he pretty much knew what he was going to get and his pensions. When he'd been doing the lawyers with the divorce, he'd been talking to them and they'd explained to him what he was going to get. and maybe he'd got some financial advice from someone, but he got the information that what money he was going to have. Next thing was the divorce. So a day later, his Philippine wife was at home and they sat down, and she said she wanted out. He said he wanted out. He didn't tell her about Thailand. He said that she could have everything in the house, put it in a container and ship it to her house in the Philippines. She was over the moon with this offer, and she said that would be great. He said, we'll sell the apartment, we'll pay all the legal costs, and he would give her 40% plus the furniture. 40% in cash to her bank. And his apartment was probably going to sell, well, we know later on it sells for 320,000 euros. Moving forward, this is all agreed. He puts the apartment on the market, gets a buyer, and it takes 3 months to 4 months. Now in this 3 or 4 months, he's speaking every day to Gretel, and Gretel is walking him through the process. How does she know the German process for getting a visa to go to Thailand, for getting this non-immigrant visa to come across and then get a retirement visa? She knows it all well. Maybe she's researching as she goes. Maybe she has foreigner friends who talk her through it. But she passes this all on to Hans. He goes through the process of going to a Thai embassy, getting his non-immigrant visa. He's got himself he's got 2 years, 1.5 years left in his passport. So he'll just renew that later on. He gets his visa sorted. Gretel also finds a house in Kanchanaburi, Bridge over River Kwai area, a 2-story, 3-bedroom house with a reasonable sized garden. She sends him loads of pictures, and she's got this house off a friend for 8,000 baht a month rent, and says that he has to pay a deposit of 6 months and a couple of expenses. 50,000 baht deposit. That doesn't sound right. No, I know it doesn't sound right at all. 50,000 baht deposit, including, not including the first month's rent, so 58,000 baht. He's over the moon with the house. It looks fabulous. She sends him photos of Kanchanaburi city. It looks great. Everything's put into place. The apartment sale goes through. The Philippine wife, all the divorce goes through. The day of the sale, monies are transferred to her. She's moved everything out by a removal company and sent it to the Philippines. They shake hands and say goodbye. They're divorced. There's going to be a few months for the absolute papers and things, whatever it is in Germany process to come through, but it's done and dusted. He's got his pension sorted out, his German pension, and it's going into his German bank account. He's got his other pensions activated, and the house, the apartment, after everything's done and dusted, he cleared 130,000 euros into his bank. He already had 20 savings, so he's got 6 million Thai baht in his bank account, the equivalent 150,000 euros, 150,000 pounds, 180,000 American dollars, 300,000 Australian dollars sat in his German bank account. He's got his Thai visa, a 1-year non-immigrant multiple entry visa in his passport. He shook hands with his Philippine wife and said goodbye. He walks out of his apartment. He books into a hotel Over the next week, he gets all this pensions, monies, everything sorted with the help of his lawyers. He leaves his job, he retires, he's done and dusted in Germany. Everything's set. He's got his airplane ticket booked. Gretel has handled him and all the ins and outs perfectly. She's been an angel. She's helped him with everything. Hans still has no idea about Thailand, about the culture, the language, nothing. Hasn't got a clue apart from a 2-week holiday in Pattaya. Never even been to Kanchanaburi. Sells his car, goes to the airport, flies from Manchester via Middle East, lands in Bangkok, and Gretel is there to meet him. He walks through the arrivals area, comes through customs and everything, comes through the final doors, and there's the barrier in front with everyone, and he spots Gretel. Walks through, she comes up, kiss on the cheek, gives him a big hug. He's got 2 big suitcases with him. She grabs one, and off they go to a car. It's a bit of a beat up saloon car. They put the cases in there, and on the journey to Kanchanaburi, she's probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours with her driving. She explains that the car's the sister's. She doesn't actually own a car herself. And they have a wonderful drive to Kanchanaburi. Gretel had already explained to Hans that he needed some Thai baht in his pocket when he arrived, so he'd only changed maybe $500 of euros of money into Thai baht. They get to Kanchanaburi, and the city is beautiful, and he loves it. It's just, he hadn't seen a Thai city before. Pattaya really wasn't the type of city like the cities outside around Thailand. So he was very pleasantly surprised. They came around through the city to just on the edge, and it was a gated community where this house was. A security guard with a gate. And she explained to him about this, that you've got a little button to open the gate if the security is not there, and you check in and out of the security, and all the houses in this community had security 24 hours. This he thought was fabulous. She also mentioned that there are other foreigners living on this estate, and they drove in up to the house. He looked at the house for the first time in the real flesh, and it was quite similar, I suppose, to some German houses. 2-story, 3-bedroom. It's like a 3-meter garden around the outside and a bit bigger at the front. With again another electric gate, another button. In she drove, gate closed behind, and they spent. It was an early morning landing, so it was lunchtime when they got there. She'd already got some different foods in that they've been chatting about on Messenger, what he likes and doesn't like. And there was basic furniture in this house. So he checked into his new house with his new girlfriend. Her stuff was already there, her clothes and things, and she'd been living in it probably for a week or so. I forgot to mention that he'd sent the 58,000 baht needed over to her bank account. Simple transfer to pay for 6 months rent in advance, plus the 1 month's rent or whatever. It worked out at 7 months rent, or a deposit of 6 and 1 month's rent. There was a basic fridge, there was food in there. She'd found some foreign food that he likes, his German Frankfurter sausages and found some different, she'd bought different breads for him to try. She'd covered her, she'd really done a good job. She'd just set it all up. Walk in, basic TV, and a basic sofa, basic bed. The house was not really furnished, a little bit furnished, but it was enough to start. This was day one of Hans' new life as a retired expat living in Thailand. Ah! Shall we finish it there? Now, let's carry on a bit, hey? I'm just enjoying this, just getting into it. So that's sort of day one. He's arrived. But let's not call that day one. Let's call the next day, day one. They slept together. Bit of a cuddle and that was it. And he'd already told her he's not into the aerobics, only into solo aerobics. That she found strange. Anyway, day one, morning. She walked him around the house, around the garden. They walked around the estate. No swimming pool. No swimming pool. Never mind. She explained that she knew some of these people on this estate. That was convenient. How did she know them? Whose house was this? And that quite a few of the foreigners were into golf. They were into tennis. They were into swimming. They were into cycling. They were into all sorts of sports. But there's no real meeting place for all these people. Not at this moment mentioned anyway. The heat immediately, even though he'd been to Pattaya for a couple of weeks, the heat here seemed hotter. He had some nice clothes with him, but he could immediately feel the heat. Health-wise, Hans was pretty good. No real problems health-wise. 64, 65 years old. He had private medical insurance back in Germany, but now that's all about to expire. Gretel had already got all this covered. She knew everything he was going to need. She was like a Wonder Woman, amazing woman. And she said, right, we need to sit down, Hans, and we need to work out what you need to make life easy for you now you're retired, what you need legally, what you need for health, and I need to explain all the systems, and this will take a few weeks. And she had a prepared list, not only in Thai, in English, but in German as well. She spoke no German, but she had it all translated in the different languages, almost like a book, like you get when you check into your hotel. Day one, health insurance. These are your choices. This is what it's going to cost. This is what you get. Like a sales package. And one of the first things was health. There you go, bang. And now he was just flabbergasted. He was amazed. This was perfect. This was his mum setting things out for him. Health insurance. You need to get this cost. I recommend you do this. And I have a friend who is an insurance agent who will fix it for you. And he says, and the cost is about, let's say 40,000. We're going to talk in Thai baht throughout the rest of this story, and you can do the conversions. 40,000 baht a year, health insurance, got everything covered. There's the package. And he says, perfect. Okay, we'll do that. But then she said, no, look, let's go for the bit better one. Let's go for the $50,000. It gives you extra access. Oh, blah, blah. Okay. I said, well, fine if you think that. Let's do that. She says, even if we don't work out, you'll need this. Okay. She said, but first you need a Thai bank account. We need to get an account open so you can transfer money backwards and forwards and pay for everything. And you need money here. My twin sister works in a bank. She's an assistant manager in the bank. Huh, that's convenient. We'll go to her bank and we'll open you a second bank as well. So you can have one for bills and then one for cash flow. She's clever. She's really, really clever. Okay, fabulous. That's page 2, bank account, health insurance. We really, and this is day 1. This is day 1, remember guys. Oh, actually, come on. I can have some fun with this one. Come on, go. Right. You imagine now you're turning to page 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Give me your input. Comments below. What are those pages going to be that she's going to spit out on day 1 to Hans? What's she going to say to him? And what's the total going to be for all these pages? Come on, I'm just itching to get your reaction. Comments below. Come on. What do you think she's going to list out the things he needs and he's got to spend in the first day 1? Put your comments below. Don't miss the next episode. I'll see you soon. Put those comments. Come on. What else does he need? Ta-da.